This is Shamanic Business. Welcome to the Shamanic Business Podcast. Every episode, I invite a new artist or entrepreneur to crack their case with the help of Shamanic Dreaming. This episode, I'm speaking to Niko Vorobyov. He is a writer and author of the book Dopeworld. And we are now going to check how he can get back in the game of writing.
Yeah, you sent me some links earlier, but then I decided not to click on them. I thought it'd be funner if it's a surprise.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what's going to happen right now.
Spontaneous is the best. Seriously. So first, I think it's best to zoom in a little bit more about your creative life or business life, So what is the project of passion you are working on right now?
So I'm an author. I write books, which is basically code for long-term unemployed. But so my kind of thing is I like to travel the world. I like to meet different kinds of strange characters. So I've got one book I've written already called Dopeworld. I think it's called Drugswereld in Dutch. Which is basically, I try to dress it up as something more intellectual and historical, but really it's just me going around the world doing loads of different drugs. So I went to places like Iran and Colombia and Mexico and Philippines, Japan, Russia. So I've got two other books that I'm working on. One of them is basically it's a follow-up to Dopeworld. It's called Extremely Illegal. And the other one is called How to Break Out of Prison, which is going to be stories about different kinds of jailbreaks and how they were done.
Cool.
But I guess my main problem is it's always how to start, how to actually sit down and start doing the work, because I never want to do that, I always want to I always end up looking at some bullshit on Wikipedia, or some dog videos on YouTube, something like that. I always think all right, in 5 minutes I'm gonna start, and I never start. Just do something else, do some stupid shit, waste some more time, play some video games or something like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but sometime I have to start my work.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like a writer's block, no?
Yeah, I guess it's half writer's block, half just laziness. It's a bit of both.
Yeah, it's hard to tell the difference.
Yeah, I think when I actually start, based on my experience before, when I actually start doing the work, I kind of my brain kind of switches over into that mode. And then after I've done a few pages, it becomes easy. But it's just getting that over that first obstacle.
Yeah. The initial impulse to really start writing, you mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very familiar to me because I'm also writing a book.
Yeah.
This book is called The White Curse. It's about it's a novel actually. It's about cocaine, the destructive effects of cocaine. And I only have to write maybe the last 2 chapters, but it's hard, man, to get myself doing it.
I feel you, brother.
Yeah, man. But I've read your book, Dopeworld, and I think it's way more than you just traveling around the world and doing a bunch of drugs, because, it's very educational also.
I try not to toot my own horn too much, but for any listeners, I'm you can buy it. I'm not stopping you.
Yeah, you're a humble man, eh?
Or if you're gonna get a Pirate Bay, at least seed it so the others can read for a while.
Yeah, but I really love to learn about every country you go to. You tell a lot about the history, about drugs and drug laws and gangs and the drug trade, and for me it was I did gain a lot of insight from it.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, I didn't really read the reviews, but I know that we haven't had a bad one so far, so I'm happy about that.
That's good.
We had one 1 star on Goodreads, but then I clicked on her profile and she read 952 books that year. So I'm not sure that she gave it the attention it deserved,
Yeah. It doesn't count. So your main question is, how can I get myself to start writing, basically?
Yeah, I want to get into the more productive mode. I think part of it's, because of this whole like quarantine thing, just being at home just makes me lazy.
Yeah. It is kind of lazy making if you're at home all day, I can imagine. But okay, so how the shamanic dreaming thing works, I like to make the analogy about the imagination bicep.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time you do shamanic dreaming, it's not very vivid, it's not very clear. But every time you do it, it becomes a little bit more clear. But you are going to have an effect the first time. But it's just not like you're actually on psychedelics tripping.
All right, I'm excited.
All right, so are you ready?
Just like when I wake up, though, I don't want to be like killing the Malaysian prime minister or something,
No. It's not going to be like that. All right, here we go. This is Shamanic Business. All right, welcome back.
That was trippy. I still feel kind of weird, dude. I turned all the lights off, I closed my eyes. I zoned out. That was dude, like I can't move properly.
Well, take your time. We're not in a hurry.
Yeah. What? What the fuck? What have you done to me, man?
It's best to start talking right away because it's like a dream. You forget it really quickly.
Yeah. So like the whole cave thing, that wasn't like it started out as like kind of like a cartoon cave. So it was like a sort of that wasn't how the cave was in real life. But for some reason, I just imagined it that way. It was like Bambi animals, like Thumper and shit. But then when like things got going, and I stepped into the little pool in the cave, and then like I thought about the animal, and I couldn't like discern what kind of animal it was, and then like it felt first of all, it felt like I was on fire a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
I felt like there was like a light around me and kind of like a warm feeling. Not like I'm burning, but it felt like okay, or maybe I was sort of surrounded by fire. Maybe that's a better.
Yeah, you felt the heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it felt like I was kind of flying, or like I wasn't like fully in my body, but I was like flying over places and looking down and seeing the height and freaking out a little bit. And then what happened? Then like something slightly changed in the sound. I think with like because there's like these nature noise in the background.
Yeah, the birds, I think.
Yeah. So for a second, I thought I heard like city noises. I don't know if that actually happened or not. But then it felt like there was like a dark sheet kind of came over me, and it was nighttime again. And then and after that, it was in the rainforest.
Okay, yeah.
And there are like these kind of vines or weeds, and I could see them growing in like like when in like nature documentaries when they show flowers like growing, like but they speed it up.
Okay, yeah, like a time lapse.
Yeah. So I saw like a time lapse of all these vines like twisting around and shit like that. And then I think you started slowing down the drum beats, and like I sort of slowly floated out of the cave, but like I didn't step out of the cave like facing outside. It was like I was walking backwards, like floating backwards out of the cave, but still facing the cave.
Mm-hmm.
And then when there's like a really slow drum beat toward at the very end, it was like it was like raindrops were falling in this kind of cartoon rainforest. But like it was daylight, so you can kind of still like it wasn't cloudy, like when it rains, but it's also sunny.
Mm-hmm.
So like you could see like the individual raindrops falling.
Okay, yeah.
And then boom, finito.
All right. Do you have any idea yet what it means?
No. I was hoping you could help me out with that.
Yeah, I can. So we start at the beginning. Okay, so the first thing is that you feel like you're surrounded by fire, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what could this symbolize? Do you feel somehow in your life surrounded by fire?
I guess the virus maybe,
Yeah, could be.
but maybe like the virus kind of keeping me confined, I guess, like a ring of fire, maybe something like that.
Yeah, like you cannot go anywhere because there's fire everywhere.
Yeah,
So you feel stuck.
yeah, but I think maybe at the same time, because I wasn't burning, maybe it's also kind of I feel stuck. Yeah, dude, that's it, totally. So I feel stuck, surrounded by the fire, but because it's like warm and nice, I kind of don't want to do anything,
Okay, yeah.
and then I fly out of it.
Yeah.
Oh shit! It's all coming together now.
So the flying out of it, is that a good thing or a bad thing, you think?
I think it was a good thing. Like it felt like I could see for miles and seeing the big picture, and I like that. I like seeing things on a grand scale where they all are like relative to each other.
Yeah. So maybe the surrounded by fire in the heat, but it's pretty cozy and warm, is your current situation, with all virus situation and lockdown, there's fire everywhere, you cannot go anywhere, but it's really comfortable at home. So you kind of get stuck in this cozy place.
Yeah.
And it's now time to fly out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what was the next thing? You started flying, then what happened?
And then the main thing after that was like the rainforest and the time lapse of how everything's growing.
Yeah. So what could this rainforest symbolize, possibly? It's flowers growing really fast?
Maybe that's like my like streams of thought, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So like my streams of thought are finally growing in different directions, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe the flourishing of your creative expression?
Yeah, something like that. It's growing and spreading to new areas and exploring new areas.
Yeah. So, and after that was finished, eh?
After that, I kind of slowly kind of hovered out of the cave, backed out of the cave and still facing the cave, and there was like the raindrops.
Oh, yeah. The raindrop. So first we're going to zoom in a little bit more about the flowers. Did you recognize any of the flowers or the vines?
No, I'm not a nature. I can't even recognize cars. Like when someone asks, if like the police asked me, like if I saw like a hit and run, all I can say it was a black car. It was a red car.
Yeah.
So I'm the same with flowers and trees. Like apart from obvious ones like cactus or something, I can't recognize anything. But it was definitely like kind of tropical, sort of, or if not tropical, like rainforest, like very green, very healthy looking plants.
Also, maybe it's related or maybe not. When you were the most productive in your previous book, in your first book, what was the environment in which you was writing?
I find the most work I do, it's actually not behind the desk, not behind the computer or typing stuff up. It's actually when I'm outside somewhere, and like when I'm on a walk or something, the thoughts, they just kind of come to me, and I record them on my phone. I put them into my work later when I get back. But like when I have a chance to like walk around somewhere and just clear my mind, be outside, that's when the thoughts come to me.
Are you walking in nature then also, by chance?
Yeah, sometimes nature, yeah. A lot of the times nature. Not always, but a lot of the time, yeah.
All right, and how often do you walk in nature now?
Well, to be fair, I haven't been that much walking around lately because I was on the little trip and things like that. So like I haven't done it for a few weeks.
What, walking in nature?
Yeah, like walking like in nature, like properly, not like just to like relax and clear my mind. So because when I was like in Greece and Turkey, I was walking somewhere specific, walking some old ruins or some old monastery or something like that, or like an old palace. I wasn't really walking with like nothing on my mind or like thinking creatively, So I guess maybe it's just a matter of getting back in that spirit of regularly going out and regularly walking the dog again and thinking.
Yeah. That might symbolize you flying out of the cozy, warm place surrounded by fire, no?
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely nailed the first part of the dream. The second part is a bit more confusing.
Yeah, because I do think the tropical flowers growing, that must symbolize something to do with nature. And if you say that when you was walking in nature, recording your voice, that was the time where you were most productive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, then it might symbolize this, that you have to start flying out of your home and go into nature and just start recording it.
Yeah, just get out more and stop. Yeah, I can see that, because it's hard to think of new stuff when you're just sat in your room, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Need to be inspired somehow.
Yeah.
I can see that, yeah.
Nice, sounds good. And the last part...
I wonder what the last bit means. Or maybe that's just like I had to just logically close the dream somehow.
No, I think everything means always something, eh? So this was... And especially the details. If you remember details, it's always good to talk about them. But you could see individual raindrops.
Yeah.
Because it was sunny and not very cloudy.
Yeah, like you know, like the clouds were like at an angle, so like you can still see this. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. So this might symbolize that you don't look at the book as like one big ocean that you have to swim through, but maybe look at it like it's are just all separate drops. So you cut it in pieces basically to make it more, I don't know, manageable.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because like you remember, like in my first book, Dopeworld, so it was very kind of episodic. So like you'd have like one chapter about one country, one chapter about like another country, and it would switch a lot between them like that, rather than focusing on like one continuous strand, you know. So that I can see that.
Yeah. Makes sense, no?
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you were going into the trance state, I was also going into the trance state, asking the same question for you. And I also got a vision. And so I enter the cave. I go past the rocks, down the stairs, towards the underground river. And there, as usual, my seahorse appears. And so I asked to the seahorse, like, oh, how can Niko fix his riding block, you know? Or how can he start riding? And he said, yeah, come with me. So I jump on his back, and he takes me through the water, past some islands, and then we reach a very big ice island with a very big icy mountain on it, an icy mountain. And there was a flying penguin standing there, waiting for me. And so I jumped on the back of the flying penguin, and he was flying up the mountain, and he was showing me that every 100 meters upwards, he placed a tent to sleep. And then he was going all the way up the mountain. And then you know what the penguins do when they jump and they start sliding on their belly?
Yeah.
He was showing me this, but he was only going to the first tent and then sleeping there. And then the next day, going to the next tent, sliding down. And I thought maybe this symbolizes something like breaking it down in little pieces, or set target words.
Yeah.
Like so many words a day, or you know, one chapter a day, or something like this.
Yeah, I can see that, because you always need to leave some space in your mind. I think that's a very important thing. You can't, like, if you try to do everything at once, your mind kind of gets crowded with too much ideas, and then like none of them come out very well.
Yeah.
So it's better to just do like a little bit, then like take a step back, and that's when I can do my dog videos and
yeah.
my new Oculus Rift. That's when I do all that shit, just kind of to refresh, like reboot a little bit. That's like resting on in the camp and on the mountain.
Yes, exactly. Because
mentally.
Yeah, it's like sleeping in a tent is like taking a rest, watching some dog videos and shit. Yeah, because it can also be scary if you're on top of the mountain and you're about to jump to slide down, but you look down and it's scary. The height is scary. Oh wait, scared of height also came back in your journey, eh? That's interesting. So it might be scary, if you just look down to the mountain and it's such a long way to slide, then it's maybe hard.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming, and it makes you scared to take the first jump. But if it's only like 100 meters and then there's a tent, then it's easier to jump and slide towards the first tent and then sleep for a little bit,
Yeah. Huh. That weirdly makes sense.
Yeah, right.
What do you think? This is just like our subconscious or what?
Well, I think it's our subconscious, but I also think that our subconscious picks up on the hidden clues of life that our conscious mind do not notice. So maybe it's some weird patterns in nature. Our brains are like recognizing patterns everywhere.
Yeah.
And maybe our subconscious has processed these patterns, like an analysis on the background, and has made some kind of helpful conclusions about this, but it's just somewhere deep in our subconscious. And
like we're too busy to notice it in our day-to-day, you mean?
Yeah. And then our subconscious can only use non-linear symbology of animals and things that symbolize something to communicate, because you cannot talk with your subconscious in words, it's very difficult.
I think I get, so it's a little bit like with ayahuasca. Like, I mean, I didn't know what other, like some others, they say that like, oh yeah, like the spirits like talk to us. Like I personally don't believe that. I think that everything that you see under ayahuasca is like in your mind already, but it's maybe something you haven't thought about before. Like, it gives you kind of the space to think about things in a new way, to think outside the box. And I think maybe that's kind of like what you're doing with the drumming and the meditation.
Yeah.
You're taking some time out to explore what's in your own mind already.
Yeah. And in the end, it doesn't really matter if it's spirits giving us the information or our own subconscious, because the beautiful thing about shamanism is that it's focused on things being practical. So it needs to have like a proper function in our daily life.
The ends justify the means, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to believe in something spiritual to make use of this tool,
Yeah, it works the same on everybody if you keep an open mind.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about this is you don't have to take drugs,
Dude, that's one thing I wanted to say. That I kind of felt very heavy. I don't know if that's supposed to happen, but I felt like, not like I couldn't move, but it felt like I shouldn't move.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You are going into an altered state,
That's the trance.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's very similar to a psychedelic experience, but it's the most mild form of psychedelic tripping, I think.
It did kind of like, even when I after I zoned out of the cave and started talking to you again, I still felt kind of heavy and kind of like still a little bit dreamlike, Yeah. I also felt like there was something like kind of going through my body. Like I don't know if it was like bad or good, but it felt like something was like making its way around my body, like from my feet to my head.
Yeah. And what is your personal theory about what that is?
I don't know. I didn't have one. I didn't think about that part yet. I was too busy thinking about the visions.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I think it's just kind of side effect. Yeah. You think what?
No, I think it's just an effect of also, if you smoke DMT, it's mostly happening in your brain, but your body responds to it also. And, we don't know. There's not much research. Maybe DMT gets released if you start the shamanic drumming. And our body gives like this same kind of side effects and feeling heavy and things buzzing a little bit.
Well, I think there's been some research. Like, I didn't think it's been proven, but I think there's been some research that DMT is what comes into your brain when you're dreaming, right?
I think
So there could be something there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's. Yeah, it might be a hypothesis still. I don't know if they actually.
Yeah.
Scientifically
Like, I heard
proved
Joe
it.
Rogan talk about it, but I don't know if, like, I'm not counting Joe Rogan as like a fucking qualified scientist, you know?
No, exactly. So it's always good to check, but there are very strong indications that it might be a possibility.
Yeah. For sure.
And in the end, it doesn't matter as long as it works, no?
Yeah. I'm feeling fine now. Like, all the effects have passed.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But it's... You mess with my mind, Mick. You got in my mind. All the way from Holland.
Yeah, this is awesome. I can put people into psychedelic trips all the way from Holland without any drugs,
That's crazy.
The modern way of shamanism, this is.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was an interesting... Like, I had no... I wasn't prepared at all. I had no idea what was coming. Like, he sent me the link, but I thought, nah, fuck it. Like, let's just dive in, see what happens.
That's best, that I know it's spontaneous,
Yeah.
So let's keep in touch.
Yeah, I hoped... I was going to come to Amsterdam last month, but, with everything that's happening, it's a bit more difficult. But hopefully by the end of this year.
Yeah, cool, man. Let me know.
Sounds good. All right, brother.
All
Peace.
right. Take care. This is Shamanic Business.